Welcome to this week's workshop, What's New for May 2024. Welcome, my name is Julie Brody. I am the Director of Measurement for MeasurementMarketing.io. Been building actionable dashboards and teaching measurement marketing to people just like you for quite some time, and we actually still have quite a few clients where we get to do this type of stuff all the time, which that I mentioned that just so you know, we are always seeing what's new out there. So if you have questions and you're stuck somewhere, reach out to us. We always love a good puzzle to solve, and we love hearing from new people just like yourself. And as we go through this particular training, remember the one thing. Don't try to grab everything we're going to throw at you today in this video. Go through and get something you can apply, and then come back and get something else another time. So let's go ahead and get started. What's new for May 2024? So let's go ahead and actually dive right in. I don't have to go through any sort of fancy updates or fancy slides for you because it's pretty simple what's going on in May of 2024. And when we are inside of our Google Analytics for property, we're going to be in our admin sections, and a couple of things that have been happening the past 30 days. There's some updates with this thing called importing data. So if you click into data import and you click on learn more, this is what I would encourage you to go through and read and see if this is something that you want to do, like your CRM. There's one that just came out with Salesforce. And so if you want to import data, meaning if you want to put data into Google Analytics 4, this is the path that you would take. However, I highly caution you. Our entire team gives you a big giant caution symbol for you to understand that this might not be the best thing that you want to do. There are so many other different ways for you to compile your data. Like if you want to look at your GA4 data, like something you have over here, and compile it against other data from your CRM or somewhere else, there's so many different other ways to do this more efficiently. And the reason we mention that is because you really have to be careful about understanding the data schemas and stuff, and you can really kind of make your GA4 muddy, and you might accidentally make some wrong decisions based off the data if the data isn't in there perfectly. So even though this is possible, it might not be the best thing for you. So if you do have any questions about that, just reach out to us. We're in Ask Instructor Support. We have our Winter Circle, which is our Slack channel. So just let us know if you have any questions about this, if this is the right thing for you. Most of the time, I'm going to say 90% of the time, possibly more, there's another way to answer the questions or to get to what it is you're trying to do, and probably cheaper and more efficient and a lot less possible having some sort of issues with it. And another GA4 update that, just as a quick reminder, if we come back to our main admin section and then we kind of scroll down. So here is something we see: conversions. You might have something that's called key events. This is something that, as we have mentioned in the past several What's New workshops, that you will see this be transitioning to key events. So basically what is happening inside of the Google Ads world, inside the actual Google Ads platform, they've always used the term conversions. And when people would set up conversions into Google Analytics 4 and they would link Google Ads, I guess there was confusion thinking, oh, the conversions automatically went over here and did all the things and all that other stuff. That is not true. So what they're doing is changing. This name is now going to be called key events, and sometimes you might actually see it come through as key events. Inside your reports you might see it, but it's been a slow transition. So you will kind of see those things happening behind the scenes. As you can see, our teaching account does not have that yet. Some of our other accounts, a lot of our client accounts, do see key events. So you might have a couple of accounts that do and some that don't, and it's okay. They're all going to change, just to kind of keep that confusion of, hey, inside of Google Ads, you still have to create those conversions and all that stuff. And just because they're called a conversion in GA4 does not mean it's actually being treated like a conversion in Google Ads. And we do have other training out there that kind of walk through that more thoroughly. And so I just want to kind of let you know that you will be seeing those words change. It doesn't do anything with the different functionality. It's just kind of clarifying for those that are going through all the different platforms to kind of keep that straightforward. All right, now another fun update that we have inside of our Google world of 3 tools is inside of Google Sheets. And this is just a massive thing of demo data that we have here. Clearly, we have this option. If you just go to extensions, you don't have to do anything to turn this on or do this. It's automatically going to be here. It's going to say Looker Studio, and it says new. And you can choose to view sample reports, learn how to create a report, all those things. But what we're going to do, and I'm going to do this in real time just so you can see how this actually works. So it says select the source sheet. So it's looking at this. And then we're just going to go ahead and choose create. I'm not going to go through all the details of exactly what all these other things are, because if you're not quite sure, then this might not be the right tool for you, just because you can accidentally pull the wrong thing. So if you're familiar with these things, perfect, great. And as we go through and update our Looker Studio course later on, we will go ahead and add this to our Looker Studio course in more detail. And so I'm not going to go to it too much. And I'm actually going to go ahead and keep talking so I don't have Vince, our video editor, time lapse this out, because I wanted you to see how quick that was. And by the way, BTW, if you have a pop-up blocker on, you'll see it pop up here. I did that when I was earlier when I was testing everything, and it did not pop up this, and it did not create the report. So what I had to do is allow the pop-ups, and then I had to go through and create again. And so once it did that, then it was here. So I'm not going to go into the details of everything that is in here, but we do have basically this Google Sheet, and it kind of gives us a little timestamp, and it has all of this stuff in here that we can then, use to create some sort of dashboard. It is pretty basic. And it kind of gives us this. There's not any other pages. It's just all of this stuff here. It kind of does its best guess. But again, this is just a massive thing of demo data. It probably is a little bit harder for it to grab that information off of, but it is pretty cool that you can now have a Looker Studio add-on right here. However, if we come into our actual Looker Studio, this is another document. I'm going to choose Edit. There is another way. You can just choose Add Data, and you can go straight to your sheets from there. And then that's where you can that's what we've always taught it, but this spreadsheet thing here is the new feature, and being able to do that right there. All right, the other super new, fun, cool update that Looker Studio has is if you go to add a chart, and I'm actually going to zoom in to make this a little bit more fun and easy for everyone to see, is we can choose add a chart, and we scroll down to the very bottom. There's one called timeline. Depending on how your data is organized, it is very similar to a Gantt chart. So you need a start time, an end time, and all this stuff. So obviously we're using the demo data right here, so there really isn't a start time, end time. But what we have, and I'm just going to look for this, and I'm going to show you how to find this Looker Studio timeline chart. And you can see some of these different options here. So it looks very similar to that. And I'm actually then going to look up, and so you can know how we do this, updates. And we see this here. And we could come into, it says learn more about the timeline charts. And we can scroll down. You can read all of that fun stuff if you want to, but here you go. You can see another example of what it has here. So as you just saw here, probably isn't going to be great with Google Analytics data, but possibly this is what the really cool thing is if you have a sheet, and it's kind of neat that both of these things came out at the same time. If you have a sheet where you have a start time of maybe the promo starts and the promo ends, and or who's in charge of what, or whatever it is, you can definitely show that inside of Looker Studio. So for instance, if you're going through a launch and you're saying, hey, instead of Washington, maybe it says, hey, this is when we're going to do our opt-ins, and and this is where the live webinar is, and this is when the cart is open. And so you can have that all the way through to be able to show that as well with the timeline chart. And so just to keep it also really clear, there is something called a time series, where you just kind of think of a line chart that goes through time. This is a timeline, very similar, basically a Gantt chart. So that is a new feature inside of Looker Studio, but you do have to have your data formatted in a way where it can actually read it. And Google Analytics is not the way to do that. So most likely a sheet of some sort, or maybe that there is some sort of other data source that might already have that in there. So you can always look into that. So those are your updates for May 2024. What was your one thing? Remember, don't try to grab everything. Try to grab one thing and take it and apply it today, then come back and get something else. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you back here every first Wednesday of the month. We're going through what's new and what's been happening the last 30 days or so you can always stay up to date. And if you want to know more about all the different courses and things you kind of heard us mention, and you want to know more about this amazing strategy called our Measurement Marketing Framework, and you want to know get some free tools, reach out to us, and or you can even jump in and to go to measure.tips/get academy and to find out which option would be better for you. There's the free option, there's the paid option. Just reach out to us. We'd love to help you figure out which one would be the best one for you. And that's what's new for May 2024. We'll see you next time.